recording in progress. Here we go.
Okay. Sweet.
Better not swear.
I hope it doesn't. We can swear.
Okay. I'm so awkward. I'm so glad you're awkward. Are you awkward?
I am so awkward. Yeah, I'm super awkward. Like all the formal stuff, I just get like all choked up and I'm like, I gotta be this certain way, but I'm not, because I'm like goofy and weird. Yeah. And so it's way easier for me just to be like this. So I'm glad you're the same way. But anyway, for people who are watching, this is Dr. Amy Cook. She's incredible. She's the developer of the Playway, which I'm obsessed with. So we're going to talk about play and its importance today, and how social play differs from, say, playing with a ball or playing with a tug, and why that differentiation is important, and how do we do it, and what does it look like, and why
all the things
with Bunny. Like, it's Bunny. I feel like I have such great communication with her and a really, really, really lovely relationship, right? And I think I read her very well non-verbally. But one of the things that's so sticky for us is social play. I've tried time and time again, and she looks at me like I'm bonkers. She's like, immediately no, absolutely not. I watch Otter play with her. I'm like, I'm going to try flirting with her in the same way that Otter does. She's like, immediately no, absolutely not. You are out.
Immediately no, I don't want this.
Mind.
I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. So,
Bunny's not unusual, right? And it's not unusual in a team either. So, because social play, while it's on a level, you could say it's just natural to us all. We all know how to be social and some level. We all know how to play. We were all once kids. It's also across species, right? And so we can't just reassure them that we just want to play, and we don't use the same signals exactly naturally. And so a lot of dogs can be like, I don't know what this is, and my best course of action is to kind of wait you out, or let you humans do whatever you humans do, and when it gets clear to me, I'll follow along, and it's not at all unusual. So there are ways to get through that. And sometimes it's hard to find your own way through that, but I've coached so many people to get through that. And there's a couple of key things I want you to be thinking about, not just for Bunny, but for any dog who's sort of asking questions or feeling a little less like they want to jump in and take a risk as to what this is. The first thing you can say is, or first thing you can be thinking about is, I want to make this familiar to you. And if what I'm doing, you're telling me is a bridge too far, like you either can't figure it out or it doesn't make you feel like safe enough to join, then I will change this until you understand and feel comfortable. And that sometimes does mean bringing in food and toys, because that's familiar to them, right? But I have people do that in a way that's different from how they normally would. So I'll go over, if you want, a way you can bridge it with food or toys into social play. But the key there is saying, I will start with what you think is familiar and safe and kind of normal. And I'll only slowly introduce pieces of our sociality together, so that I'm not just saying, okay, cold turkey, I'm going to be playbow lady, and you just sort of have to figure it out, right? So there's that piece. The other piece to think about is that play doesn't have a textbook, and play doesn't have a way it has to look. And if you see me play and you're trying to play like that, you might be having a false picture in your head. You get my picture in your head. Or if you've seen your dog play a certain way and you're like, well, that's how they like to play and I'm going to try it, then you might be in a bit of a rut. Like you've only got a couple of different ways to invite, and because you have a picture of what play is. I didn't realize she was behind me.
Like, did someone say play?
Yeah. And truly, to me, I've been able to conceptually pare this down to, it's really the conversation that I'm looking for. And the play is a form of that social conversation. But if we can get it down to, you and I take turns in this little dynamic, and I feel you, my partner, taking your turn, and I'm answering what your turn was. The whole interaction can be something as light and silly as, she's just on your lap and you did a boop to the nose and she went ha, and you had just a 2-second little back and forth, and that's enough. It does not have to be you're on the living room floor and doing these things and she's coming over as if you're a dog. Yeah. But I feel sometimes people think it has to get there or it didn't work and it's not play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for therapeutic reasons, it doesn't have to be there. You know, maybe for a certain kind of enjoyment, we want it to get there.
Sure.
But if we're trying to use play to solve some issues in their behavior, if we're trying to get to that place of collaboration where I can say a thing and then you feel free to say your thing back. You have an answer or another idea on it, and I will take that from you. If we want to get that piece going, it can look like a lot of things. Just like every conversation with every person you've ever met is kind of different from every other one.
I love thinking about it like a conversation. It's so beautiful. And it really makes it really makes you think about, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and how to keep that going in like small,
in small ways, in small
pieces.
Yes. And it's natural to you. We naturally can exchange information with people that we know. We can do that. So it doesn't feel so foreign to try to do it. And it kind of puts you more in listening space than in, I'm playing. Come on, respond to me.
Yeah.
I'm playing. Come on. Yeah.
I feel desperate when I try and get Bunny to play. And I know like you gotta get rid of that desperation and just like allow it to flow. But at a certain
easier
point,
said than done, right?
I tried everything. Like, why won't you're my best friend? Why won't you play with me?
I know. But it's sort of similar in conversation, right? Like you and I have not seen each other face to face and spoken in person.
Right.
And yet somehow we're taking turns.
Yeah.
And somehow we're listening to each other. Like I haven't planned any of my sentences, not a single one of these are planned, right? I'm coming up with something, but then if you have a thing to say, I respond to that thing.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Yeah.
And it's just finding a way to plug that in. And it feels a little unnatural to plug it in because of course our dogs aren't talking, right? The other thing is that when you feel desperate, the partner knows.
Yeah, for sure.
And some partners are resilient to that. You know, like some people are resilient to that in conversation. Like we can, you know, take in the awkward or take in the silence and not feel weird about it and suggest something else. Like I am particularly okay with awkward silences because I'll always fill it in with something because I'm just really talkative.
Nice.
So I'm safe to have around if you're never sure what to say because I'm probably going to say something, right? Right. Like the introvert, you know, doesn't mind my, you know, taking up the space sometimes. But that's not true of everyone, right? And sometimes if it's so important that it goes right, or if it's really formal and you got to get it right, the chance you're going to get it right is kind of getting ruined, you know? So connecting to that place of, it doesn't matter how this conversation really goes. And it's okay with me if you don't know what to say, dog. I'm not sure either. I just want to listen. You know, the art of good conversation is not talking, it's listening, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's why acting is so hard because you are planning what you said, but you still have to look as if you were listening and responding as if it were natural, and you're not. You're all reading a script. That's why that's really hard.
Yeah, for sure.
So the listening is the hard part, and getting people to just be like, I don't know what this is, but here's an idea I have, dog. Boop, boop. What say you? And the dog goes, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like this. And you go, cool, okay. And you stop, and they go, oh. You know, and you say, I got it, I listened. And what people do instead is, immediately no, let me convince you that this really is different than you're imagining. Let me convince you that it's really going to be fun, trust me. It's like, well, I already said I wasn't into it. You know?
No means no.
No kind of means no, and no also means no in subtle ways.
Mm-hmm.
The more you're listening to no, the more yeses you get. But I realize that anyone listening is saying, okay, fine, but how do I get play started? Like, how do I do it? Right. So there's ways through it, but that's the first thing I want people thinking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple questions. How is this type of play, and specifically what you're using it for therapeutically, how is it different than playing with a ball or playing with a stick or playing tug? And why is it so much harder?
Yeah, I think it's harder because it requires us to equalize our power with them and to listen a lot to what they say and let them have a lot of say in exactly how this goes. Now, within limits, of course, we don't do anything dangerous. I don't let them, you bite me or whatever, but it's much more collaborative than training usually is, and then certainly high energy play usually is. So it can be hard for us to do because we have to drop trainer mind a little bit I sometimes find it harder to teach trainers than just kind of average novice pet owners, because they don't come in with a lot of, trainer style of running the show and getting the behavior and giving the feedback, right. And so there's that. So it can be hard there, but also there's a real sense in this kind of approach of letting go and letting a dog solve a problem. The point, not the point of it, but what you're really doing in a session, I realize I'm jumping ahead and I know people don't know what a session is, so I'm going to speak accordingly, but you are setting the stage, you're arranging it such that your dog can come to the correct conclusions and can find the solutions to problems. It's a lot more like how therapists work. If you've never been to therapy, you might think that a therapist finds your solution, tells you what you should be doing, right? But they don't. They give you a space to discover what's going on with yourself, and you find kind of your solutions and how you want to feel. And so in Playway, what I'm trying to help people do is let a dog be able to come to a better place in their behavior by setting it up such that that's what's going to be learned, but not by teaching it. Right. Not by directly saying do this.
Errorless. It's an errorless learning protocol.
I'm really endeavoring it for it to be errorless and also dog empowered, right? So dog centric. Now, why it's different from playing with a ball, playing with a toy, playing fetch, these high energy games, right? These things are great. And there isn't any way in which I'm taking that away from most people. I think you should have all levels of fun with your dog. You should be able to be, have high energy fun and also silly little whispering secrets fun, right? But they function in very different ways. So big play, fetch play, tug play, these things all require a pretty high energy from your dog. They're all in, they're committed, they're tuning the world out, if you will. They're having they're concentrating, they're only in that moment, roughly, right? Like if you're playing basketball, you're thinking about basketball, and you're committed to like getting around that person or trying to get, I don't know, a shot. I don't even know why I pick basketball. I don't play basketball, but I don't know. But it seems like you're kind of concentrating on that, right? And if you're thinking about the audience and thinking about your taxes and thinking about a camera, if that's one of those, you're not going to actually be playing because you have to concentrate on what you're doing, right? Well, that's wonderful. And that's wonderful for training. And it's wonderful for so many things. But if you're trying to help your dog come to a new conclusion about how safe they are, or about that the things around them are not threats, or that, that they misunderstand that, the environment seems very dangerous to them, and you want them to understand that it's safe, them concentrating only on your tug game helps them tune out that world. They're not taking in that world, they're playing tug with you. So that's a very direct channeling of their concentration. And when I want them to kind of learn things therapeutically, I want them to be able to focus where their attention takes them, and use their interaction with me as more of a barometer of how they're feeling and a check on myself as to whether we should still be going forward. Tug will hide that from me.
Yeah. So their ability to be in that low arousal, whispering secrets type play with us lets us know that they feel safe enough in that environment to be performing those behaviors. So it's just like you said, a barometer of how they're feeling in that moment.
I have started to see, over time that it's become that it's useful to me as a barometer for how they are in the moment. So, as trainers, if we're talking to trainers in your audience, we're always saying to people, you have to be under threshold, right? Always saying, try to keep your dog under threshold. Don't go over threshold. It's such a constant that people are exposed to this as owners, or they're saying it as trainers. But the thing that we're not, I think, always very clear about is what is under threshold? What is that? And how do you know? And at times we'll explain it. In the past, certainly we've explained it as, well, if your dog can take food, they're probably under a certain threshold, right? And I don't think that's wrong. They're under a certain threshold, but is it far enough? Right. Is it far enough? Or they'll say, if your dog can listen to cues, can perform something, can concentrate on you, they're under threshold. Well, they're under a threshold, but is there still some stress going on in there? Quite possibly. And what I really want as a trainer is a way to ask a finer grain question and say, how sure am I that you actually feel really safe and really good? Because you might be eating and still maintaining a certain level of feeling unsafe or stressed out here.
Totally.
Or you might be able to follow my cue, but you're holding on to yourself and it's hard for you. And learning that you're safe, I feel best comes from starting being safe. You are safe already. And then as little things in the environments change, you can say, am I still feeling safe, or am I starting to feel unsafe? Am I starting to feel a little like I'm going over threshold? If I don't have a measurement in there, I can't intervene early enough to really keep you feeling great.
Yeah.
So, fetch and food and all those more those vetoing types of interactions where I can get your attention and I can help you and I can keep it. Those work for when I have to be over threshold. Those work for when the environment kind of isn't terribly safe according to you, but you're using me and I'm helping you and we're getting through it or getting out of here.
It's already a little bit too much.
It's just a little too much for you to learn a whole new way of feeling about the environment.
Yeah.
Because I need that to start from you being as safe as possible. So I constantly looked for ways to measure whether we were there and ask an honest question, like ask, are you there? And to read an honest question back. And until now I've had body language and I've had, will you eat? And I've had, can you hear me? Can you sit? Right.
Yeah.
But what I found with play is that play is so fragile. It's so fragile that an animal who can do it with you, if you can get in that little social play place, it's so fragile that the second something is wrong with the environment, or the second they start to have some question about what might be going on, they won't engage in it anymore. And that's not true of food usually.
Yeah.
Right. They'll eat food even when they're a little concerned, and then eventually they'll stop. Then it will rise enough that they'll stop.
Totally.
But play disappears like smoke. It disappears right away the second the dog has a question about something in the world.
That makes it feel so special too, right?
Right. And I want it to be fragile. So the second you bring a ball out or a big toy and you get really big and animated and you're running around, that's not going to disappear like smoke. That's going to stay for a long time. But social play, it's gone. Just like our chit chat is gone. If we were just chit chatting and having some coffee and we both thought we heard a noise outside, we'd go see what the noise was.
Yeah.
Our chit chat would be gone because it's unimportant chit chat. We're just, shooting the breeze and we're like, wait, what was that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I want the most fragile interaction we can find that is still enjoyable, that is still feels good, that is still chosen by the dog. They want to do it, but it's just not about, it doesn't have so much value that they would do it over absolutely everything else. Because once we have that, now we're into reinforcement land and I can't use it for therapy.
Oh my gosh, so interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love it so much. It's brilliant. So do you see trends in types of dogs that are easier to social play with and dogs that are less easy? Like, is it less easy to sort of get a consistent social play with a fearful dog and easier with a confident dog, or vice versa? Are there trends that you see specifically within different types of dogs?
You might be the first person to actually ask me that question.
Oh, really?
I mean, maybe, but because I might be answering it for the first time, but absolutely, yes. I see trends, but they might be slightly unexpected ones. And please, everyone listening, a trend means a broad stroke, broad stroke trend. It in no way goes down to the individual. I find that dogs with a long history of training with their owner, who have not played with their owner, will find the whole thing very destabilizing. Like, what are we doing now? You have changed entirely the way you interact with me. This is not what you do with me. We have an interaction over school and over affection. And I don't know this new thing. And they start to go, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, you normally tell me the thing I do and I do it. That's how we do this.
Yeah.
And now you're not telling me what to do. You're just leaving space. Like, I don't get this. And they can be quite nervous about it. I find that dogs who are of the breeds where they've been bred for a lot of high energy and a lot of forward push. So maybe your shepherd types, maybe your cattle dog types, maybe dogs who are very, very bitey, normally, and, you know, mouthy and play, and whose job is to do that kind of thing, they find it a little bit like foreign land to be in that smaller spot and to try to interact with us or interact with anyone, even other dogs sometimes, in a way that is not in that mode. Like, it's not like, this is not about being jacked up. This is about being this other thing. And they're like, but I haven't done that in such a long time. Or even as puppies, they're like, I didn't come out of the box like that. So there's more scaffolding there to kind of slowly bring that out, but to also accept who they are. Like, here's a toy for your mouth, bud. That's fine. Like, I know your mouth needs to be busy. Here you go.
Yeah.
I find that often of course, the ones who we bred for sociality tend to be ready for this conversation. All your Cavaliers, your Retrievers, right? Sometimes your Poodles, because we ask that of them as part of their job and their temperament.
Yeah.
They can be a little bit easier. But I find your bully breeds are often a little easier to start to play with. Because of their kind of okay nature of like, go for it, yay, right?
Yeah, just their gameness, like, I'm ready.
It's like, all right, like, I'll try something, right? Just generally, as a breed. But a lot of times, these dogs that are ready to do it often come in with like gangbusters and like, let's go. And you find yourself being like, I don't know if I can play that way. I don't know how to. I can't play like a bully breed dog.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a translation needed on your part to help them, like, okay, I see how you're playing. We're going to have to collaborate to find a thing we can both do. Yeah. Yeah. But they tend to be like, all right, I'll give stuff a try. And that makes people feel a little more competent, even if overmatched.
Yeah.
Now, the shyer ones of almost any breed or whatever, I have often learned that, like, it's safer to just sort of wait this out, or it's safer to just maybe not take a chance. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to hold out till it's a little clearer, you know, or they'll say, how about I just appease you a lot? They'll make a lot of these like, especially if you have a good relationship, they're shy in the world, but, you know, good with you. They'll say, how about I just lick your face a lot? How about that one? Right? How about I just roll over a lot and you can pet my tummy because you like that. And I like that. And we've done that. So let's do what's familiar to us. Okay, please? Because, like, I know that one.
But then it's affection and not play, right?
And it's affection and not play. And it's also a little bit of a like, change the subject.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I see something. I don't know. How about this?
And is it like reinforcing some sort of power dynamic instead of having like a balanced and equal conversation?
And it's going into the rut of what you're used to doing, right? And it's hard for any of us to stretch. And classic signs are dogs licking your face a lot, or just wiggling up and trying to say, like, do the thing you already do. I know that one. Now, what I do when dogs do that is I say, I will honor that. Like, I had an idea. I introduced a play bell. I said, I'm gonna get you. And you said, oh, I need to lick your face. Right. And I will not ever just be like, oh, no, I want to play bell. Because I said, I have an idea. And they said, I have another idea.
Yeah.
And the proper answer to someone saying, I have another idea is to say, hey, okay, sure. And then, you know, take that in and maybe slowly morph it away from my face a little, you know, or something. But then say, how about this idea? Right. Yeah. It's a lot more like the improv of yes and. Like, right. I'll take what you're saying. Let's make it into something we can both do.
Totally.
Rather than, oh no, you know, or you play bow and they get all mouthy and you're like, ow.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Normally we would do that. And then they go, well,
I made the wrong choice.
I thought you wanted to play. Like,
yeah.
All right. Like, why didn't you just tell me what you want then? Why don't you just tell me?
Right. Yeah. And then it stops being a conversation.
And now it's not a conversation. Now you're training again.
Yeah. Oh.
And now you're in charge again. And now you're in charge.
So delicate.
It is delicate.
Yeah.
But also it's not, because we can do this with each other. Right. You and I can do this with each other. You know, like, I would never, if you brought up something I didn't want to talk about, I would never say, I don't want to talk about that. And I expect you to feel like you can come back into the conversation, right?
Sure.
I'd figure out a way to kind of slowly get us out of that conversation.
Yes, and
like, like, I know that was really hard, but you know what I really want to talk about is that, you know, so I'm not saying everyone is socially facile, right?
Right.
But we have a little bit of a framework for figuring that out. And we're just not used to applying it to dogs, and dogs aren't used to interfacing with us that way. So getting over that hard point is what I'm kind of here for. I'm here to coach that part, because I truly don't teach people how to actually play, because we already kind of know how. And I don't teach dogs to play because dogs kind of know how. It's the translation. It's getting that piece to click together and help a dog feel confident that it's okay to get on your body, that it's okay to walk across your stomach, or it's okay to put their paws on you or their mouth on you collaboratively in play. Because they've heard so long all their lives that is not what humans want. Humans don't want feet on them. Humans don't want mouths on them. And so it's hard to believe that you do want it now.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
Right?
I want to get into some of the steps that it takes to get from, I don't know how to play with my dog, to like playing, to having that conversation. But first, I just want to mention that your course, the Playway on FDSA, is open for enrollment right now through the 15th of this month. Is that correct?
That is correct. The class runs every other term all year long, so you can always jump in. But right now, the April term just started, and enrollment is open. And I believe some silvers are open depending on when you're hearing this. And but bronzes are unlimited, and it's the best deal because you get access to everything in the course. And although you can't talk to me and ask me questions, there is a TA for the course as well who's very knowledgeable.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so she can help you with, you're like, what did Amy mean? Or, oh, what happens if this happens? She can absolutely help you. And I really suggest people take this at bronze first and read along like you're watching a movie or reading a story. Read how the stories unfold. Read what I'm trying to say to people to get them to feel it so that you can feel it. Don't follow along and think, I'm going to do exactly what they said, because it's a lot of new material for you. So if you read along at bronze first and get the inspiration, get the feeling, then either from there you can coach yourself, or from there you can come and get coaching from me in the class. So the next time it comes back is in August.
Okay.
I forget,
awesome.
December. Yeah. And it goes all around. So if you're listening to this now and you want to join us, it's open until enrollment closes on the 15th of April.
Okay. And did you mention that you also there's like another smaller course on FDSA right now that just talks about sort of the basics, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5?
There is not a course. I just did a webinar.
Oh, yeah. It's a webinar. Okay.
Yeah, it's a webinar. And as of right now, we're recording, people can buy it, but probably by the time they see this, they won't be able to. Yeah. So I know, but I do versions of that in different webinars and places. So I did a version of it in the Lemonade conference. I've done a version of it at Michael Shikashio's aggressivedogs.com, and that is ongoingly for sale with the pieces in it. It's just slightly framed more for aggression, but it's really the same play information. Yeah.
Okay.
And so this sort of the steps of at least the framework of the play, how the play really goes and how we get there in the steps, is that first we start with a greeting, just like any two people might, right? We don't walk up to someone and just start talking mid-conversation right in the middle of the subject, right? We kind of negotiate this.
Yeah.
So to break that down, I would say hi to a dog. I literally would open my hands to the side. You don't have to do it exactly like me, but I open my hands to the side and I say hi. I actually do say it. You don't have to say it. If your whole body says hi, that's usually also good enough. But I say it because it reminds me that that's natural to me, right?
It's a conversation opener. Yeah.
It's a conversation opener. Other conversation openers that are similar to hi are like, hello, right? It keeps my hands close to me instead of reaching out to you, because people don't like that, and dogs don't like that. They want to be the first to touch you. They want you to be the second to touch. Yeah. You open your hands to show that you're willing to be touched. Like, hi, you can come here. Here I am, open and ready. And then the dog makes the decision. Right. Just like as if I'm going to shake your hand, I say hi, but it's your job to be the first one to touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I open my hands and I'm like, and I look willing. And then you assess, did you get a greeting back? A lot of times your dog will just take that and come into you. Like, oh, you want to touch, you want something, I'm going to come right in. Right. Yeah. Fantastic. That's your permission to keep going. Other kinds of permission are a dog who is curious. So they're giving you their attention, they're looking at you, but they haven't touched you, but they're looking at you like, yes, what? Right? You said hi, they said hi.
Now what?
Your turn. Right? And in that moment, I'll say, well, at least I've gotten permission to keep going. I've gotten your attention, but I don't have permission to touch you because you didn't touch me.
Right.
In fact, I asked you to touch me.
Yeah.
And you didn't. So like, you're willing
go?
to see what's next, but like my next thing isn't, okay, now I touch you.
Yeah.
Because I already asked you if you wanted it. And you said, not yet. I want to see what this is. Or like, I don't know, just give me a second or whatever the answer is. So from there, I start my flirt. I start my invitation. I advertise what this is that I'd like to be doing. So that would be like your conversation opener. Mm-hmm. So, hey, how you been? It's so good to see you. Oh my God, how have you been? What's your life been like? Whatever. You start a topic. So I might do a little fake play about, or I might say, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. What say you, essentially? Yeah. Or I might, if it's a dog who likes a different style, I might hide my face a little and peek out and be like, you can come get me. That's an invitation for coming to get me. Yeah. And then the dog has a response to that, whatever that is. Maybe they read it and come get you. Or maybe they read that you're going to come get them and they go, and they, come over a little or make a little silly move. Maybe they keep looking at you.
That's Bunny right there. She's just
yeah. But are they still looking at you? Are they looking at you with curiosity and attention and kind of like ears forward, like curiosity, like, what is this you're doing? This is interesting. Or are they looking at you like,
yeah, it's more like that.
Yeah, if it's not like that, I'm not sure that
Otter is all in from the moment I go like that. He's like, yes, more. Otter instantaneously, please. And Bunny, no matter what I do, So I've tried several different types of invitations. I lay down on the floor with my belly up and look and do this. I do the like tapping on the ground. I do the Friday face. I turn away and look over my shoulder. And every single flirt that I've tried with her, she just rolls her eyes at me.
Okay. So we'll solve the invitation and conversation piece for you. I'll give you some things you can do for Bunny. Okay. But after the invitation phase, if you get a response, then conversation is just, now I say the next thing. Now you do the next thing. Now I say the next thing. Now you did a thing. Now I'm doing a different thing. What say you? Oh, I do a different thing now. So it's a little free form in there, but you have to be taking turns and listening for and leaving space for their answer. Do not monologue. Don't just all of a sudden start playing with them and unendingly with no back and forth. It is still, boop, you got me, get out of here. What are you doing? And then they get you. Like you want response back and forth.
Yeah.
After you're in that place, right. You got to take turns.
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll talk about styles. Dogs like styles and dogs like, suspense, and they like all kinds of other stuff once you're playing. But negotiating getting into play a lot of times is a sticking point.
Yeah.
Just like you're describing.
Yeah.
So when I see that come up in class, and actually it's come up, our goals right now are now starting their social play. They've gone through their like assessments. I watch them train, I watch them play with toys, and I start them playing. And they start going, oh God, this is hard. Wow, what do I do? Right? So that's the place for it now if you're joining the class. And it's a great place to join, in fact. Usually the second week is a great place to join if you're watching. So what I do for a dog who has just started to say, I don't know, this is weird, is I give them a week, as long as you can try it a couple times a day for only a minute. Only a minute. If your dog is saying no, you're just going to try for about a minute. You're going to show them some of your ideas and let them watch you have some ideas. And then you'd be like, okay, all done. No problem. Let's go do something else. But if that's gone, like, let's just say it's been a week and they're still like, yeah, I don't know. Or they're starting to say, yeah, I don't like, I see what you're doing and I'm now just not going to even watch you. I don't even want to watch you. Right.
Yeah.
If that's happening at all, or if they've just been watching, but kind of not joining. I would now start changing it to where there is more familiarity and more room for them to come in, something that does bring them in, that is more their speed, they already know what it is.
Like a toy?
If they already like toys, I might start flirting and inviting in a fun social way, but with my toy.
Mhm.
So that they're like, oh, I know what to do with that. If I came in, I would at least bite it. And like, that's at least something I know what my part is. Right.
Yeah.
So they're a little more able to come over. Um, and if they're not toy dogs, because some of you listening certainly are your dogs are not, I would do that with food. But I'm very cautious about giving food to people as the bridge for this, because people immediately switch to trainer, or they immediately switch to a totally different kind of play style.
Yeah.
Like they make
I'm
it like
reinforcing
a tug toy.
something
They start
here.
going like this with the toy, with the food,
Yeah.
to get their dog to follow it. Yeah. And although that's not wrong, you can certainly move your food that way and have your dog follow it. It's not what you were just doing actually when you were doing it socially. You were play bowing and making gonna get you. And now that you got food, you've all of a sudden changed the whole thing you're offering. So if you're going to bring food to bridge your dog over, to help your dog try to, make sense of what you're doing, it's best if you still do some of the things you were doing. It's just you have food in your hand now.
Yeah.
So I play bow with food in my hand, and she comes over and goes, "What's that in your hand?" You go, "Here you go, whatever, I don't care. Here, I'm training you. Just here, have some cookies." But I got other ones. Where is it? You want it? You sure? Oh, but where is it? Where is it? Pull away, and they try to get you, and you pull away, and you go, "Here, have it. I don't care." Anyway, here's another one. Where is it? Oh. Run away, hide under the blanket. Here's a little cookie. Pull under here, and sure, they are of course only coming because there is the cookie.
For now.
I know that now, but they're getting exposed to what you're doing, and they're willing to come over and kind of be in your body space for it. Yeah. Sure, it's for the food, but you're going to start teasing with it, and even when welcome, push them away a little in a mock, like, you don't get this food, you can't have it. It's not a shove, it's not a it's a nobody likes you. Oh, this is for me. Boom. And they're like, hey, and if they start going, but I want it, you're like, here, have it. Like, I don't care, we're just playing a game, it's dumb, here, have a cookie. Like, I'm not trying to I'm not gonna withhold it from you forever, because then you'll be like, well, this is like, you're just teasing me, and you never do it.
Yeah.
Right? I'll just give it anytime they want. I don't care, have 100 of them, I don't care. But look, where did it go? Play peekaboo like you do with babies. Roll on it, roll away from them and say, come get me. If they're unsure about getting on your body, you can lay on your back and draw it across your body so that they like try to come over it. And if they go around you, then like, oh, here it is. Oh, I rolled again. Like, pretend I'm laying down. I rolled again. And then they go all around, like, where did it go? You're like, oh, it's right here. Where'd it go? They're like, hey, maybe they jump over you this time. Give it to them, whatever. Try again. It allows you to introduce your social self and your social moves, but in a way that gives them something else to like kind of look at or concentrate on a little bit, or at least feel like, there's a reason to be here. I mean, like, you're not doing this with dogs who are afraid of you, right? Not like that, but dogs who are like, I don't know what this is, so never mind. Now they're like, well, there's a reason to be here now.
Yeah.
And all that mock stuff where you go, I got a kibble, I push you, this is dumb. They're getting used to the idea that you're teasing. And one day, if you don't have the kibble there and you're like, you get out of here, they just have a habit of going, what are you doing? They just start to open up into that space. So food is hard to bridge play into, because people immediately become trainers or get handsy and swoopy, and they forget to do body stuff. But if you can remember to do body stuff and say, this is just here, but I'm going to still be a little silly, and then compromise with you. Here you go. Here's cookie. I like, you look weird. Here, have one. Like, sorry, I was weird. Here, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Same with the toy. Like, here's the toy, but oh, where did it go? Where did it go? Hide it, pull it out, hide it. And then like lay on it and push them away, right? But if that's getting them too aroused, then we slow it down. We sit up again and we're like, you're silly and cute. Come here, silly. Oh, what's this? This silly girl. Get out of here. I do slow motion pushes so that I'm not like, it's not provocative. It's not trying to get a rise. It's like, nobody likes your dumb face. And then you're like, ooh. And then give it to them. Who cares? Who cares? You're trying to say, I'm safe in this. This is a conversation. I don't care about the outcome. You want the toy, take the toy. It's not important. I just kind of want to talk with you, and I just kind of want to be with you. And if it took 15 seconds and then I gave you the toy and you went away, so what? I can do this tomorrow. It's not important.
How therapeutic for us too as humans. Like, just insane. Like, I can see how incredible of a tool this is for gauging where your learner's headspace is out in public, but also just like thinking about this, hearing you like imaginary play with a dog, my blood pressure is going down, I feel calmer, I feel happier. Like, what a beautiful way to interact and engage with your family animal.
With your family member, right?
Yeah.
This is where oxytocin comes from
I'm
for
feeling
us.
it,
Right?
not even actively playing. It's just like
Not even actively. And you know, it relationships are complicated.
Yeah.
And human relationships are very complicated. And any of you who are spoused up or live with some other adults that you have to get along with know that relationships are not just, you know, rainbows, right? And there are times when you're irritated with each other, or there are times when secretly, and you won't tell anybody, you wonder what you got yourself into. Maybe you aren't sure this was, you know, what you were trying to get in, you know, bargaining for. Right. And these things can start to kind of cloud the way we do stuff and make us feel certain ways. But adults who are, let's call it spoused up, who live with each other in the same bedroom, have things they do that repair and that remind you why you are in love in the first place, and that remind you of how great they are. We do all kinds of relationship repair with our friends and our loved ones. With our best friends, we remember to laugh and go see our favorite movie together, so that we're wiping the slate of all the irritations that come up. Right. And that's the care and maintenance of a good relationship, is you remember the love part and you see them through good eyes. Well, you know, even when there are moments of irritation, you remember that there's another part too. In dogs, you know, maybe we're not so used to doing it. I don't know. Maybe we don't always have to, because it's maybe easier. But with dogs with behavior issues, not so easy anymore. And you start wondering, what am I getting myself into? I don't know what I'm doing. This is really hard. Secretly, and I won't tell anybody, I kind of don't know if I want this dog anymore. Yeah. But of course, you feel terrible for saying it or thinking it. So you're trying your best to be, again, committed, and you're going to do this, and you're going to be the best mom you can be, and you're going to learn all the training stuff, and you go to every trainer, and you're really trying, but it's hard, and maybe you're angry, right? It's very reasonable. You're angry at a dog who's just seemingly on your last nerve, and you're starting to think, are you just doing this on like, you know, quit it already, you know, or just all the things we feel. These are natural, these are normal, and very reasonable to feel. But it's hard to keep staying committed and going on when that's a kind of a dominant feeling. So I find that really helping a team succeed through behavior problems, whether it's fear and aggression or, you know, separation anxiety or something else, is to give you things that remind you of how great, why you love that dog in the first place, and how wonderful they also really actually are. Yeah. And to connect a person to the idea that your dog is having a hard time, not giving you a hard time, so your sympathy is up, right? Yep. And that's a cognitive exercise, reminding yourself. But when you play, you feel it. When you play, you're just kind of in love with them. When you play, you're laughing with them about a thing. And you find them hilarious, and they love you too back. And it's demonstrable. Yeah. Right? And so when my dog is about to hear something, you're about to hear something? Okay. I can hear her going like, what is this going on? And so that part is healing for us. That laughter with your best friend reminds you, it fills up your cup again, and you're like, you know, nothing is crucial for today. You know, I can do the little bit I can do today. This is a great dog, and I love them, and this is awesome together for us, and we're laughing and having a good time. I got enough for tomorrow. I got enough to try this again. They need me. It's hard on them. Like you get in a better place. Yep. So I want both members of the team to be laughing and to feel that intimacy that is the secret language that only you have. You know, no one can play with my dogs like I can. Right. I know what they mean by what they said, and you don't. Right. And at first, when you come to me, I know more about your dog than you do. I read your dog a little bit better. I know that they're saying something, and I help you play with them. But by the time you're playing with them for a while, it's like, I don't know your dog better than you now. Yeah, you got this. You've got the secret language. Listen, stay present, see your dog through tolerant, loving eyes. When they aren't doing very well, just go like, that's okay. We'll figure it out together. We're a team. Play is really helping us get in that space. And I don't think every single dog owner needs to be in that space. I think a lot of times it's uncomplicated and you can have any relationship you want. But when you're a person, especially a dog owner, a new one, and you're trying to solve a behavior problem, you also need
It's
caretaking.
complicated. Yeah.
You need caretaking.
Yeah.
You really do. And you need to be able to keep maintaining that commitment to what you started. And it's hard. And I'm very
You
sympathetic.
find those moments of deep connection in order to
Deep connection and
motivated.
And you get motivated. And then also that deep connection, you may not realize, is going to actually help you make better decisions for tomorrow when they're feeling a little off. You're going to be like, I see it way sooner. Like, you know, if the three of us, you know, me and a spoused couple go to a party, right? It's the spouses who are going to know when each of them are done with the party.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to see the subtle signal that it's time to go because I'm the friend. Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can't tell that it's like now that person's done with all this sociality, but you do because you're so intimate and you're so clear on their subtle signals. If we're trying to make decisions about stress for our dog and say, I want to help you relieve it early in the process. If I can't see you starting to feel it and I have to wait until you can tell me about it, I'm behind the game a little. So that sensitivity you build through play helps you say like, I don't think you're feeling so great. Well before food has disappeared, well before anyone else could see it, you can see it and you can help them so much earlier. So it does even help just practically and therapeutically, not just for your own heart, but practically.
Oh,
I know that's a lot to take in.
No, I couldn't love it more. I love it so much. It's just, it's giving my heart like really happy, full feelings. Just talking about it. It just is so powerful. I love it.
I know. That's why I can't stop talking about it because of that.
Yeah.
Because of that. It's the emotional connection to it all and the joy you feel when you're in sync with a conversation with an animal. It's unparalleled.
What it's all about, right? I mean,
it's what it's all about. It's what I want training to be.
What was that?
It's what I want training to be.
Yeah.
All my training has shifted as well to it's a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, if I said sit and you didn't sit, my question to myself is, oh, I wonder what's wrong because normally you would sit, right? My answer to myself isn't, hey, I'm pretty sure I told you to sit, mister. Like, I'm like, you need to do that because I said, like, that's not how I approach it at all. It's like I said, sit. You normally would sit. You did not.
Yes. What else is going on?
Interesting puzzle.
Conversation right now.
Yeah. Did you miss it? Maybe you missed it. Perfectly normal mistake. Maybe there's something wrong. It's feedback to me when you don't follow what I've asked you to do. That's it.
Yeah,
it's the whole conversation. My dogs are not my automatons. They're not my things to command around.
Yeah.
I do need behaviors from them, but they're on me. They're on me to get and to train up. So it's change, you know, letting them tell me how they're feeling, letting them give me feedback, letting them say like, maybe I don't know about this. And honoring that voice when I can has changed everything about how I change behavior problems and how I conduct training. And I wish it for everyone. I really do.
I love it. I cannot wait to take Playway in gold. I am super excited about that. I am super.
I really want you to. I really want to put you in Bunny.
There's a conversation going on right here that I'm not a part of. Hey, Bunny, come here. Come here.
Come here, buddy. Is it Otter?
Oh, it's both of them. Oh, there's a family. You guys, there's a family outside that's walking on the beach. Come in here for a second.
How dare they? Otters. Hi, otters.
There's a bunny.
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 Hi, Bunny.
Hey, Buns.
Hi, Buns.
Hey, Otter, where are you? Oh.
Bunny Bun Buns.
Well, it has been such an amazing pleasure to chat with you about this. It's really so inspiring. Where can I go where the barking will stop?
It's fine. You can just get some cookies and bring them over to you.
I can get, well, Bunny won't take cookies right now.
Yeah, but Otter will, and that'll help.
Otter will, and that will help.
Yeah.
I also.
All right, we can coach through this. This is about dog training. We can coach right through it.
Yes. All right.
My dog just brought something to help you.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Yeah,
That's
did you bring?
So sweet.
We heard barking.
Oh. Your dog brought that over to you?
She just brought it. Yep.
That
Just brought
so
it. Now I have a committee too.
That is so sweet. Oh, look.
It's totally fine to end a YouTube on dog training with some dog training, isn't it?
Absolutely. And my upstairs cookies are gone. Otter just passed out. He's like,
oh, the moment's over. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, I just wanted to say thank you for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. I mean, we've chatted back and forth for months now on the internet, but
Right.
it's just been a total delight chatting with you about a subject that you're obviously so passionate about and that is like so inspiring to me. And I would imagine to so many other people as well, because it's really all about connection. And this seems like the gateway to like starting that conversation and really, really building a beautiful foundation to have continued conversations upon.
Now, it is, and it's like also this way of saying to your dog, I know that all relationships are complicated, and sometimes I'm your teacher, and sometimes I have to tell you what to do, and you don't get a lot of freedom. But in this moment, in our play session, it's expectation free. I don't have a design about it. We can do what you like, and I'm not going to tell you it has to be my way. You have expectation free space with me, and we are on equal footing here. And that little piece is a gift you can extend to them, even if you never use it to solve a behavior problem, which is like the second half of my program, which we can talk about some other time.
Yeah.
But even if you never do that, you're saying right now, this is equal between us. And we can create it ourselves. And I don't have to, you're not following my lead. In fact, I can follow yours if you want. That's a gift you can give your lower powered partner that I think pays off in so many ways. So I really want to thank you for letting me kind of bring this to your people, or letting me talk to you about this, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't get enough time to talk about play.
Thank you so much. You are a national treasure, and it's been my honor to speak with you. And and FDSA course is available for enrollment until the 15th. Bronze is still available, unlimited. Everyone go sign up. It'll change your relationship.
It'll change your life for $65 for 6 weeks of full-time talking to me. And it's at Fenzi Dog Sports Academy. The class is called Dealing with the Boogeyman, the Playway. So you got to look for that, look for my name. It's named creatively. So look for that piece. Otherwise, just hit me up on all the socials. Find me where you need to. I answer questions openly, freely, all over the place. So don't be shy. Hit me up. I want to spread the magic of play. I think it's life-changing, and I think we should all be looking for it. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alexis.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you really, really soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Subscribe.